Okay, so I left here. I'm gonna abandon um, the mesh and use a curve. So I'm gonna go ahead and create. You can create circles or squares. So here's the here's a circle. So now this needs to be small, but we can always use the history. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. Now this doesn't have to go and sit on the tip of that curve up here. It doesn't. It's like a totally different construction technique. So I select the profile and shift select the path and go under surfaces, extrude settings. Now this is the surface extrude settings, and I'm going to reset everything, and I'm going to go ahead and I want this to start from here and go all the way down and create my cylindrical pipe. So I'm going to go at path and component. I want a polygon, not a NURB object. I want a quad, four-sided polygons, and I want a general tessellation. And I'm going to take these numbers all the way down so I can make the simplest polygon possible. If I click apply, you don't see anything because the polygon is created, but there's not much information. So I have to go to the NURBS tessellation area and increase the V number and the U number. So the U number is like I will set it around 10, and the V number I will set it around maybe 12. Actually, I'll do 16. A little bit more. Now this object is created. It's a polygon object, but then that's a little bit thick for what we want. Then we can get this guy and actually start scaling it, which is a very good thing to, if you want to really. I'm going to go ahead and look at the curve here. I'm going to go closer to that. So here's my curve, and here's my side view. I'm going to go in and sort of get my transparency setting here. They changed the icons, so it's a little bit hard to. So that's the X-ray. So they have a lot of things have changed. Shaded, and the wireframe on shaded is here. Okay, so I can see my mesh, and I'm just gonna start reducing the size until it's exactly what I want from the start here. So that's acceptable. I'm going back to my perspective, and here's my polygon. Now if I wanted to close it, how do I do that? I want to close this poly shape. I'm going to go to my edge, double click on the edge loop, and extrude it, and now it's going to give me the extrusion, like this extrusion gizmo, but I want to click on this button here and make the extrusion go in the center, like in a world. This is local, this is world, and I'm just gonna scale this in. So I keep scaling it in. I'm gonna press F to go closer, scaling it in, and now I'm gonna go ahead and press vertex and select these vertices and merge them. So so that would be components, merge, to merge. That would be it. I'll do the same for the. I mean, I don't have to do the same for the for this guy here because I don't need any face there. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at this from the side view. Turn off the grid and turn on the X-ray. And at some point, this gets thicker. So I need to go and find exactly where this happens. So I can press 4 to see. I can make the polygon disappear for a second. So hide the polygon. So it's over here. So let's bring the polygon back. So I'm going to select all these faces. and extrude them. Give a little thickness. Go back to my perspective view. I'm going to go ahead, press 5, turn off the X-ray, and extrude. So that's like a slight difference. So I'm just going to extrude that and give it like a slight thickness. That's too much, and these are, I don't want the divisions to be so many. So thickness 0.02. That's small, 0.03. That would be better. And then I'm going to do the same for the base, like around here. I'll select this part. I could even move these vertices a little bit on the top, so it just starts from. And I'm going to extrude that too, and give this another a little bit more. And let's. I'm going to go ahead and extrude a little piece down there too. So I'm just going to create. So I extruded that. I don't need all these faces that are added because of the extrusion. So I'm going to delete them. I'm going to go ahead and use my insert edge mesh tool. Insert edge loop. Go to my faces. Select the ring. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to go to the extrude command and reset it. And apply. And I'm just going to give it some thickness. Just a slight thickness here. And you'll see why I'm doing this. I'm just going to go ahead and end this extrusions. Go to the side view and press 3. So I can see the smooth version. So now we have a problem. We have to start sharpening certain areas. So I'm going to go to my perspective, and I'm going to start sharpening certain areas with the edge loop tool. So I'm going to go ahead and sharpen this piece. I'll add and if this is not looking that great, I'm just going to select the edge and make a bevel here. So bevel that a little bit. So if I press 3, now it's a little. Now you can tell it's sharper. And here we have like another piece that we're going to attach. So up here we need to also use the edge loop tool. And add an edge here, an edge here. So I'm doing that for all the areas. So then if I press 3, then this is. Now there's a little slight problem here with the angle, which I'm going to figure out in a minute. Go over here and do the same thing. 1. So that's like finalizing the piece by sharpening these areas. And do that down here too. So I want one here, one over here. I'm trying to cover all sides. And one down here. So press 3. So you can see how everything now is perfect except this piece. And you go to the side view. So this is inevitable. What happens here is like we have like a break on the shape. So we need to kind of maintain the continuity. I can select all these vertices and kind of, we might need one more over here. So I'm just going to select this guy, move it down, insert edge loop, add one more over here. Let's straighten that out, move it up. So sort of create a better transition. So this helps to create this. and maybe one over here. This is looking a little bit better now. So we don't have that extreme change of shape. I will do one more. Insert edge loop. I'm going between 3 and 1, so I'm looking at the soft mesh and I'm looking also at the hard surface. So this happens when you start sharpening curved areas. Then you have to kind of massage the vertices a little bit. Now this one is, I would do one more over here, just slightly. These little kind of moves will create a better transition on the curve. So as you can see now, I'm like improving the shape. Okay, so that's good enough. Now I'm going to create the base. So I'm going to go back from the isolation mode. I can go back to display, show, last hidden, and I'm going to create a base. Like this is a cylindrical base, so I'm just going to create a cylinder over here. And I don't need that many subdivisions. I need like about 10 again. I don't need the bottom part, so I'm going to select the faces on the bottom here. One thing about the face selection, I prefer to go to my settings and go under the selection, and instead of having a whole face, I have the center. That gives me these like little kind of buttons here, that or dots, that I can select the face, and they have priority, so it's easier to select. I'm going to go ahead and scale that, bring the pivot point D, V, and snap the pivot point here and get this lined up. Now we can use the align tool, but I can just let's see, there's this curve in the middle. I can use it as an alignment. So I can go and press C for the curve, C, middle mouse. I can't really find it, so I'm going to get this guy and put it in a layer and hide it for a second. That's a new layer. Let's see. I'm still not familiar with the new interface. So here's the C, middle mouse, bring this guy over here. Okay, now I have that. Now this is a little this is overlapping, so I'm going to go to my side view. And of course this cylinder is much larger, and off to this, something like that. Now if I turn on the X-ray, I can see through, so I need this guy to move up over here. I can also kind of taper it a little bit, just for aesthetic reasons, and then I'm going to go ahead and work on this piece. So that's the base. I need to bevel it, so I'm going to use a bevel, and maybe a fraction of 0.25, half that. And this one, we can't bevel that, of course. I mean, I'm just going to extrude that. give it a thickness and a negative offset, minus 0.2, and a thickness, actually offset of, let's say, 0.1, yeah, and a negative thickness. So that actually is sitting on the ground, and I can bevel this little area just a little bit. I can go and throw a bevel there, but make the fraction really small. Okay, so now if I press 3, I get this, which is too soft. So I'm going to go and add more edge loops. So I'm going to add an edge loop right here and one down here. It's a little bit better. I could sharpen it even more. I mean, the more you add, I mean, not hundreds, but you can actually sharpen certain areas. Now this is the edge loop up here. This is one over here. So now if I turn off the wireframe on shaded, you can see that I'm getting this nice sharpness. So that's done. Now I'm going to pause that video and then I'm going to complete all the other gear.